Nicole, Kidman. You won't believe what happened next. The couple who looked untouchable for nearly 2 decades quietly decided to part ways, and the truth behind the smiles is more complicated than anyone guessed. Nicole Kidman. Nicole grew up miles from Hollywood's glamour, a shy kid with a big imagination, born in Honolulu and raised in Sydney. Acting wasn't some overnight whim. It was where she found a voice. She moved from ballet to drama clubs, then into small TV parts, and slowly the world noticed. By the time she left Australia for bigger stages, she had the kind of talent that made directors stop and take notes. Her rise brought fame, awards, and a public life that rarely allowed privacy. Her first marriage was intensely public and painful. When she and Tom Cruise split, she not only lost a partner, but the central role she wanted most, an everyday mother to her children. That wound stayed with her. When she later met Keith, it wasn't just about love. It was a chance to build the family she'd been denied and to protect the life she craved for her kids. Keith Urban. Keith's story starts on a different map, but with similar restlessness. Born in New Zealand, raised in Australia, he fell in love with the guitar and country music early. He climbed stages in small bars, chased a dream across continents, and finally made it in Nashville. Success came with the usual cost: long tours, nights that swallowed time, and a struggle with alcohol that followed him like a shadow. He wasn't perfect, far from it, but he was honest about his past, and for a long time, that rawness made him magnetic. When he met Nicole, she saw someone vulnerable and talented. He saw someone steady and brilliant. Together, they seemed to solve each other's missing pieces. So, how did a match that looked like destiny begin to falter? They met in 2005 at a charity event and moved fast. By 2006, they were married in Sydney in a ceremony that, for fans, felt like the happy ending both had been searching for. But real life rarely follows storybook timing. Just months after the vows, Keith checked into rehab. That first major challenge set a pattern: love and rescue, then more struggle. For Nicole, saving someone who battled addiction was painfully familiar. She'd tried that before and paid a heavy price. For Keith, having someone constantly watching for signs of relapse could feel like both a lifeline and a leash. They made a lot of choices that kept the image alive: award show moments, family photos, and public gratitude. They had 2 daughters, and together they built the kind of normal that celebrities long to protect. But normal, as it often does, collided with careers that demanded opposite things. Nicole's work kept her on sets across the globe. Keith's life was on the road. Attempts to balance touring schedules and filming sometimes meant they were physically and emotionally out of sync. What the cameras saw, the steady couple hid the smaller, steady tensions. Disagreements over parenting, different approaches to routine, and an unspoken fatigue from years of being each other's anchor. Over time, the cracks widened into quieter things. More solo events, moments of silence in interviews, and small gestures that no longer felt automatic. Friends say it wasn't one explosive betrayal that broke the marriage. It was the slow erosion of intimacy, the tiny resentments stacked up over years. One partner wanting security, the other craving freedom. Both right, both frustrated. When people assume they lasted this long, it must be perfect. They rarely consider how exhausting and sustaining that perfection can be. Then, in late September 2025, Nicole filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. She sought primary residential custody of their daughters, emphasizing stability for the kids above all else. The filing surprised a world that had long believed this was the forever kind of love story, but for those who had watched the quieter signs, it felt like an inevitability finally acknowledged. What followed was raw and public in ways she had tried to avoid. Keith's first show after the split was a headline-making moment. No wedding band, altered lyrics, and a set list that avoided songs many had come to associate with their shared life. A line change in a breakup anthem read like a pointed reply, and the omission of another love song felt like erasing a chapter. Fans noticed and read meaning into every change. Social media exploded. The tabloids feasted. Suddenly, the privacy she'd hoped for was gone, and the story went from legal filing to emotional spectacle overnight. So, where does that leave both of them? For Nicole, the focus shifted inward to her children, her work, and preserving some quiet in a very loud world. For Keith, the stage became a place to process and to perform the heartache. Neither role is easy, and neither tells the whole truth at once. There's grief, yes, but also relief, anger, and a long list of complicated feelings neither will want aired in full. This isn't a simple villain and hero tale. It's two people with complicated pasts who tried to build a life together, did it for nearly 20 years, and then reached different conclusions about what love needed to look like going forward. She put family first when it mattered most. He leaned into music and self-expression when he needed to make sense of his life. Both choices come with consequences. What should we take away from this? Maybe a reminder that public narratives rarely match private lives. Celebrity marriages are edited for headlines, photos, and sound bites. The messy, human parts, the quiet fatigue, the small resentments, and the caregiving that is both noble and exhausting don't make viral clips. They make decisions at kitchen tables late at night. If this story hit you the way it hit millions of fans, say something below. What do you think is harder, staying together for the public, or stepping away to protect what's left of the private? If you liked this retelling, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more stories told plainly, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next chapter.